Who remembers the BJ and Bill show all those years ago on WOLZ? Well, many have said they missed the show, and guess what? They're back. Welcome to the BJ and Bill podcast.
Welcome to BJ and Bill, the podcast, a part of the Podcast Playground Network. Please give us that 5-star review. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and iHeart, wherever you get your favorite podcast, which better be this one right here, my friends. Also, follow us on Facebook, BJ and Bill, the podcast. And as always, email us, bjandbillthepodcast@gmail.com. With Black and very heavy heart today.
Yes.
We probably even have to do an eulogy.
We're both wearing black today. Yeah. Although this is my regular black hoodie I normally wear. Are you wearing a tie or what? Oh, that's your glasses there. He's got his glasses tucked in his shirt. It looks like a tie almost, but no, it's just your glasses. Okay. Fine.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm wearing my tie. Say welcome to episode
for his podcast. So anyway, here we are. The Monday after.
Episode 123.
123.
A very sad episode.
Yes, it is.
Yes, I don't even know if we should be doing a podcast today. We should just be in mourning all day long. You notice I'm not wearing no Bucs hat today.
He's already made the transition to hoops. He's already got his Warriors baseball hat on, so good for you.
But I will tell you this, before we get into the Bucs, I think this is going to change too. I mean, I love Steph Curry.
Right.
Steph Curry is the reason I watch the NBA.
Okay.
But they just won't give him any weapons. So I'm thinking I might have to become a Magic fan.
Magic fan?
They're doing pretty good. I can be to the stadium within an hour.
Right.
Probably 45, 50 minutes.
Right.
I think I'm going to trade my allegiance from the Warriors to the Magic. And also
let me invite you over to the Cleveland Cavaliers if you'd like to join a real winner. My old hometown team continues to crush it.
Yeah, they are doing good this year.
Doing good. They're the number one team in the league. Hello.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay.
I've seen other teams look marvelous until the playoffs come around. Then everything changes. Yes,
I agree. So I love the idea of jumping on the Magic bandwagon. They need the love. I love it.
Yeah, and like I said, they're a good it's a good young team.
Yes.
And if they're not going to give, any weapons for Steph to win another championship, I can see jumping ship because I have never lived in California. No. I've never even been to California. The only reason I am a Warriors fan is because of Steph Curry. He's just a fun guy to watch play. Just like Caitlin Clark is fun to watch in the WNBA. They're just two players that are fun to watch.
I agree.
Now let's get to something that wasn't fun to watch. As we say, we record and this is not a sports, podcast, but
no. It's just two old men who like kind of watching sports occasionally.
Yeah, and we were both big Buccaneer fans and
big Bucs fans.
I now own two Baker Mayfield jerseys, creamsicle one and a red one.
Yep.
And they didn't do squat for me.
Of course, as we record this podcast, it's a Monday morning and it's the day after the Bucs lost to the Washington Commanders in the wild card playoff game last night. So just to set up anybody who wasn't paying attention, but yeah, I hear you.
And what's, even more depressing too, they are the only team in the playoffs that lost a home game.
Yes.
In the opening round.
Yes, they did. Yes. Totally 100% depressing. I hope I didn't scare any of my neighbors here in my apartment when I yelled and screamed at the TV several times during the game. I was actually texting with a couple of friends, not just you, BJ Odom, but we were texting during the game, and I was texting with another friend down in Sarasota. Same thing. It's like, oh my God, I hope you're not screaming too loud. I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to contain myself. We had every chance. We had every damn chance to win that game. And it came down to a couple of key mistakes, mental mistakes. Terrible.
Let me say
Terrible.
this. And I'm not a sports commentator. I'm not a sports guy. But, if I was like on ESPN this morning, this is exactly what I think I would say.
Let's hear it.
Baker Mayfield is a great guy. Baker Mayfield is a good quarterback.
He is a good quarterback, yes.
But he's not a great quarterback.
I would have to agree with that. As much as it pains me, I would have to agree with that. That during the game, you always know during the game there's going to be one, maybe two times where you go, what the hell were you thinking? I've now cursed twice in the first 5 minutes and 58 seconds of this podcast. I promise I'll be a little better later on. What the
I'm
heck
not
are you
promising
thinking?
nothing.
Huh?
I'm not promising nothing.
Yeah. Okay. He's not promising. No promises this morning, kids. So anyway, yes, a couple, just one or two little mental glitches, and you're like, it could have been glorious, as the Klingons used to say. It could have been glorious.
And
but no.
What I'm noticing, and like I said, I'm no sports guy really, but it seems like a lot of these young, that's only been in the league for a year or two.
Yep.
Or maybe 3 are shining their lights so bright right now in the NFL. And what's Baker about 5 years out now when he was drafted?
Yeah.
5-6 years out.
And
so I think if he was going to hit, I think if the Magic was going to hit.
Yeah.
I think he would. I don't see him getting at a higher level than he is now.
All right, so your points are both very good. First one, the young quarterbacks. Yes, it used to be the kids that come out of college and they would have to sit behind the start, be second string for a couple of years while they soaked up the system and all that. Now they are coming out of college 100% thawed and ready to go. It's not like you're taking a frozen meal out of the freezer and it needs to thaw. They're ready to rock on day one. And the kid last night he's from LSU, right? He went to LSU. Yeah. As good as they get. And in fact, he set a record for a rookie quarterback winning a playoff game or something like that.
I think so, yeah.
He joins like a very short list of rookie quarterbacks to win a playoff game. So anyway, yes. Now, does Baker get any better? No. I think his physical skills are what you see is what you get. Now, he could hopefully get a little smarter or see his mistake. Now, I'm not saying that all of the mistakes last night were his and his alone. I mean, that one snap that got fumbled and that was just horrible. And I don't know if that was his fault or the center or what. I don't know. So, but anyway, yeah, you're right. He's a great guy, good quarterback. Does he get any better from here? I don't think so. I don't see it happening. Now, can he win playoff games? Yes, absolutely. Could he win a Super Bowl? Maybe. If he had a lot of help.
Yeah, he needs more help than he has. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
Now this is weird.
BJ's.
I'm trying to I use my iPad for my little that tells me, things to say during the podcast.
Things to say
kind of like my
show. Okay.
It's kind of like my teleprompter.
Yes, teleprompter.
And so it was stuck and it wasn't prompting me any further. So,
oh dear. Okay.
I couldn't prompt myself.
So just to the NFL thing, of course, now this, as we record on a Monday, there's one more game tonight. So you have tonight, you have the Minnesota Vikings and the LA Rams, and they had to move the game out of LA because of the fires and all that. Maybe that's something we'll talk about. I don't know, but horrible situation in California. So the game's being played in Phoenix, Glendale, actually, at the Arizona Cardinals stadium there in Glendale, Arizona. So, Anyway, should be interesting. If you had tickets to the game in LA, do they just they can't honor the tickets? The seat numbers aren't the same. What would I guess you'd have to trade them in and then
I
make
don't
the
know.
drive from Los Angeles to Phoenix. But okay, if that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. So anyway, that's a story.
Now, my last sports comment. Last night I was watching the game in the
Yes.
very beginning.
Of course.
The players are coming out and everyone is screaming. And I mean, you can tell.
Of course.
I wasn't there, but you can tell it's loud.
Oh, yes.
I sit here and do our podcast, and I can sometimes see out the window, and I'll see someone walking a dog or a couple walk by or something, and it'll grab my attention real quick, and my train of thought may, get jagged a little bit. I'm wondering how it's so loud in there, and these young little girl reporters, and yes, all of them seem to be little young, cute little girls trying to grab us football players' eyes.
Right.
But I mean,
you're talking about the sideline reporter ladies.
Yeah.
Yes. There's a couple of guys, but not many. Yeah.
It's thundering loud, and they're there just like keeping their composure. Maybe they're reading a teleprompter. I don't know. But they keep their composure, and they just sound so smooth. I think you'd think all that noise in the background would get you off your game a little bit at least.
Maybe they wear earplugs or something. Who knows?
That's it too. I never thought.
Although, if you know what you're going to say, I mean, you and I have both done that. We've been in front of big crowds making a lot of noise. If you know what you're going to say, you can kind of like push through it without paying hopefully too much attention to what's going on in the background or around you or whatever. So yeah, it is an amazing, I mean, a stadium in full cheering mode is an amazing thing. I mean, it just is. So yeah,
Yeah. Speaking of us doing that, the most difficult, when we were in radio, we would go to different events and we would have to, get in front with a microphone, whether it be a concert or a sporting event or whatever it is.
Yep.
And the only ones that really were tricky for me, and then of course, I kind of learned how to just exit all out so you didn't hear it.
Yes.
But somehow going to the baseball stadium, you got there and say, hello, 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 hello.
Oh yeah, it didn't echo.
Welcome to the game, to the game. And you're sitting there going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I hear myself. And you're going, holy shit, no, gee.
Yes, if you were ever out in the middle, now that didn't work when you were up. I did. I don't know if you ever did. Did you ever call a baseball game? Did you ever like when our old buddy Ted Fitzgeorge, shout out Ted, couldn't make a game for like the Fort Myers Miracle or something like that? I called a few games. I was the booth announcer for a few of them. When you're in the booth and all the speakers are way out there in center field, it doesn't echo. You're fine. But like you noticed, I mean, yes, it's true. If you're standing, and we did one or two where we were on the ice at an Everblades game too. Same thing. You're carrying a microphone out in the middle, and you're right there, and all the speakers are coming at you. So yeah, it echoes when you talk, and it's hard to do because your brain stops. Your brain stops and listens to that, and it's like, all right, now keep talking.
Yeah, I remember the first time I went to I don't know what it's called now, but Hammond Stadium where the Minnesota Twins play.
Yeah.
Spring training.
Yep.
And I was handed a microphone. I was to go out in the middle of the field and make an announcement and talk to people. Well, the first time I did that, it was like, oh, I'm glad I was sober and wasn't high or anything else, because I don't think I would have been able to handle that at all. And even as, as straight and narrow as I was that night, hello, everybody. Welcome to a Hammond Stadium. And you try not to hear it come back at you like a second after you said it.
It's hard. It's really hard. And and even, I mean, we are quote unquote, or we were quote unquote professionals. If you put a regular, a normal human out there, you can't do it. It's impossible. Your brain stops because it's like, oh, I'm hearing this. No, wait, I'm here. Oh, no, wait. Oh, no, wait. Your brain stops when you do
Yeah,
that.
like I said, the first time I did it, it was not. And then I knew what to expect, I guess, the second time.
Right.
So it was a little easier. But that first time, I was not expecting it. I'm sorry. I may have been a professional pronounsticator, but I could not pronousticate that well that evening.
Professional broadcasterizer. Yes, that's you. I get it. All right, cool.
Well, yeah, I said, man, why those girls just keep their concentration and they say what they need to say.
Well, it's not echoing back to them. I mean,
No,
they're
but
just
I mean,
talking
I'm not
into a
talking about the
microphone.
echo. I'm talking about the people screaming
the
and
crowd.
hollering.
The
That would
crowd.
throw me
Yeah.
off my game a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
Because, when we went to Hammond Stadium, it was like a, spring training game or.
Yeah, 7 or 8.
So they weren't as loud. Let's just say that. Especially like if BJ Odom would walk out to the middle. They wouldn't like the Beatles were in town. Oh my God, it's BJ Odom.
Yeah,
oh.
No. Now you, of course, as a former stand-up comedian, have been on stage in front of people a lot. And that's something I never did. And I mean, I did it once or twice. And there was one night where we were at Edison Community College, I forget the name of that auditorium. Beautiful place.
Oh, Barbara B. Mann?
Barbara B. Mann, thank you. And I did something with you that night. And of course, just Bill telling a couple of jokes, went out and did a couple like 5 minutes of quote unquote comedy. The thing that blew me away the hardest was the spotlight in your eye. You can't see a damn thing in front of you.
Most comedy clubs are like that too. Right. Like you can maybe make out, because I was, when I did my show or my comedy act, I did Comedy Magic.
Right.
And I used a lot of volunteers.
Right.
And some of these clubs.
I was one of those volunteers on more than one occasion.
And some of these clubs, and some of these, big stages that I would work sometimes. Yeah, right. The spotlight would come on and I would need a volunteer. And I'd go, I can't even see one person in the audience. Because usually, at least with me, I could watch the crowd as I, started my show.
Right.
And you could see the people that were paying attention.
Right.
People who were having fun. And you go, okay, that looks like a fun I liked it when I was headlining, because then I could sit in the back of the room and watch the people.
Oh, right.
And I could okay, that looks like a fun person. That looks like a fun person to bring up. But when you would you'd go up or you'd be in a green room and
right.
you'd come out and the lights would hit you and you couldn't see anything and you're going, I need a volunteer, but I don't know who. I think I see heads. I think there's people out there. I hear laughter, but I don't see anybody.
I don't see anybody. That's it exactly. That's it exactly. So yeah, that was. Anyway, I don't know how. Oh, we got off on that because of noise in stadiums and all that sort of thing. Yeah, it was fun. So anyway, I get it. These are problems that normal people will never have, and are listening to the show right now, going, "Who the hell cares, BJ and Bill?" So
yeah, but we're giving them because isn't that important to people? You want to give them a peek behind the curtain. Everybody wants to be a star like BJ Odom. All they want to do is look behind the curtain at your life and go, oh my God, that is so awesomeness.
Everybody wants to be a star like BJ Odom.
I don't know. Maybe some of my gummy is still retroactive in my system from last night.
He did text me last night, folks, actually, it was about 20 minutes before the game started, because things take time to kick in. And he's like, I just want to make sure my heart doesn't go crazy. So I'm going to have one. I'm going to have a gummy. I'm like, maybe you want two. He'll go, I'll still be laughing all night. I'm like, oh, okay. Then, so he did have one completely legal in the state of Florida gummy last night, which helped keep him from bouncing off the walls too much.
And I was saying, when we were in the second half, I definitely needed another one, but I knew if I would have done another one at that late in the evening,
right,
the night would have, you'd be listening to me now going, and I'd sound like that echo. Hello, Bill. How are you?
I know. Yeah. So anyway, no gummies past late night for you, and it's kind of like me and caffeine. You got to stop the caffeine by the afternoon, or I'm up all night. So
Oh,
I hear you. Good job.
I can't even drink well, I don't even drink sodas anymore anyway, but like a
No, I don't
green
either.
tea, like a
Yeah.
green tea or anything with caffeine in it, after like 1 or 2 o'clock is like 2 in the afternoon is like my cutoff point.
Right. I am test driving, test slurping, test drinking. I'm holding it up for the camera. Of course, I know nobody can see it. I'm test drinking a new instant coffee with other stuff in it, with minerals and vitamins and mushrooms in it.
They're not the illegal mushrooms, are they?
No, they're not the illegal mushrooms.
Oh,
They're
okay.
they're allegedly brain enhancing, make you smarter, less foggy, less
Oh, I need
caffeine
that.
filled.
I need a brain one. I need a
Right,
brain
right.
drink for sure.
Brain drink. And I gotta tell you, well, I put a tiny bit of sweetener in it and a tiny bit of cream in it. It tastes really good. It does taste. I'll give them credit for that. It's kind of coffee like, but not heavy like hard coffee taste. So it's pretty good. And I've been doing it for about 2 weeks now. So I should be like a genius in a couple more weeks. I'm holding out for that. I'm gonna be like Einstein level in a couple of weeks here. So anyway,
Yeah, I definitely
that's my
need
plan
some.
anyway.
Now, I actually, and when will it air? I don't even know when it'll air for sure. I think I have it in front of me here somewhere. Yeah, I do. It won't come out till January 21st,
Hmm.
but I just recorded a Gift of Life, the organ transplant podcast,
Tell
and
me
a
more.
lady had a liver transplant,
Okay.
and she was also a nurse,
Wow.
and she had, like a fatty liver, and a lot of people think of fatty livers as alcohol, and it can be from sweets.
Yes,
You can get a fatty liver from too much sweets.
I believe that.
And it was hard to I guess it's hard to diagnose too, because really, until you're really sick with a fatty liver, you don't even realize you have a fatty liver.
And
So,
and
so
I
it's
want to
really
hear
eye
more,
opening
but
for me.
yeah, I want to hear more. But I was going to say actually, because when you think about it, well, not when you think about it, when you do the science or whatever that term is, alcohol basically turns into sugar. Alcohol is sugar. I mean, it's just old sugar, right? But I think your body turns it into the same kind of, your body treats it the same. I think after it's done its alcohol thing. But yes, so I've heard of that fatty liver thing, and I don't know much about it. And I'm trying to be really good with sweets, and I can't tell you the last. Actually, I had a beer. I had one beer when I was down in Sarasota last week. So I don't drink anymore. So anyway, interesting. The fatty liver thing. I've heard of. You see that on all kinds of health podcasts and stuff like that. That's interesting. So she had the whole. I thought you could treat it. I thought you could like change your diet.
Well,
Maybe
yeah, you
not
can
though,
change.
huh?
You can change diet, and you can, take. They're even coming out with a pill now. Of course, there's a pill for everything now.
Pill for
There's a
everything.
pill for it, but I guess it's just hard to diagnose until it really affects you in a bad
And
way.
and
And by the
and
time it gets diagnosed, you're needing pretty much, you're told you're going to need a liver transplant.
And how does it affect you? I mean, do you know anything about that after talking to her? I mean, what kind of
She was
symptoms
just,
did it show?
and I think everybody has those symptoms, which is scary, like fatigue, tiredness, not a lot of mojo,
Yeah.
things like that. That's how
Boy,
she
at our
felt.
age, that's pretty much everybody, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I know. That's like every morning. What do you mean? I must have a fatty liver. By the way, if you are interested in it, you can, listen to the episode coming out January 21st.
Okay,
And her
cool.
name is Sue Green. She wrote a book called Don't Call My Liver Fat, Liver Transplant 101. So
Don't
that
call my
that
liver.
that was the name of the book. Don't Call
That's
My
funny.
Liver Fat,
That's
Liver
funny.
Transplant 101.
Okay, cool. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
I'm also looking up a book. Now, thank you for the reminder. I'm writing that down. Wait a minute. Did you watch the Philadelphia Eagles game yesterday?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, the Eagles beat the
They beat
Eagles
Green
beat
Bay.
who? The Eagles beat Green Bay. Big time. Big time.
And all the
Uh,
prognosticators, the television prognosticators, they predicted Green Bay to win pretty much. And the
I
Eagles
would
took
have bet
their,
against that if I had money to bet. I would have bet on the Eagles because they've been looking sharp, and okay, Jalen Hurts is not brand new, fresh out of college, but he's sharp. So anyway, but here's my story. Because your mention of books reminded me, they are panning the sidelines while the Eagles, and I don't remember if is the Eagles or the offense or defense, and there's a guy reading a book. One of the players is reading a book on the sidelines. And I'm like, that's either the coolest or weirdest thing I've ever seen.
and
Then
it was
they
a
zoomed in
motivational.
on it, and
Yeah.
the book was a like a personal development thing. It was called Inner Excellence, and now I'm surfing over to Amazon to look it up because I will bet money that the sales of that book just skyrocketed overnight.
I wouldn't doubt it too.
So the book was Inner Excellence, Train Your Mind for Extraordinary Performance and the Best Possible Life by Jim Murphy. Boy, if that's a book for a football player to read, I don't know what is. Or all of us.
And
But
read
that's
it on
awesome.
the sidelines. Yeah, read it during the sidelines.
Yeah.
And it was one of their best players too. It wasn't like some, just some random guy.
No, it was a guy who was in the game, playing the game, doing big things, and then he came back and he's reading this book. All right. Here's the Amazon description. Discover the life guide that has developed world champions, empowered athletes to become world's #1 players, and most importantly, transformed hearts and minds. This step-by-step training manual from one of the world's top mental skills coaches will train you how to perform like the very best. Whether you're an athlete or entrepreneur, single mother or father of 5, you'll find exercises, techniques, and tools in this book to improve every area of your life. Your life will take on new meaning as you move beyond the pursuit of happiness to a life of purpose and fulfillment. I am ordering that book today. I just am. Or maybe I'll just find it at the library, see if my library has it. But
and then if it's got a lot of pictures, maybe I can read it after you do.
I don't know if it has pictures or not. I'm sorry. It's only $10 on Kindle. I might just order it right now. I just might. And then, because that is the awesome, coolest thing I've seen in a long, long time. A guy reading a book on the sidelines. And it was really dog-eared. I mean, it was really like he had used it. You could tell. It was like he's been through this book a bunch of times. So, okay, anyway, sorry. Cool. Very cool.
We're about the third week into the new year.
Yes.
This is about when everybody, this is when a lot of them go away the first day or two, New Year's resolutions.
Yes.
But the third week, this is the time.
This is when this is when the gym empties out again.
This is when your life goes back to hell again. You're going to make it great. You're going to do awesome things. You are ready. It is a new year. Third week. Screw it all. This is way too much work for me.
There's even a commercial that I think it's for the iWatch, and it shows the young lady out jogging, for the new year. And the commercial even says, and he mentions the day. He even says January something or other. It's called Quitters Day. Look it up. I'm going to look it up. All right. So I'm taking that challenge. I'm going to Google and I'm putting in QUITT Quitters Day. All right.
Oh, wait. Quitters Day is actually January 14th. Today is January 13th. When we record this on a Monday, so when people get this on Wednesday, they'll be done with their New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, actually, it's over because it is according to Google, according to Mr. Google, it is the second Friday of January, which would have been last Friday. So yeah, as we record this, well, it doesn't matter. It's the second Friday of January. So yeah, Quitters Day has already come and gone. So you can safely go to the gym today, and know that it's not going to be crowded with people who are, well, quitters. Because you're not a quitter, damn it. You're not a quitter, are you? Yeah, well, I kind of am, so it's all right.
You're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me.
BJ and I are laughing along here. So anyway, don't be a quitter. Just, find a better way to do it, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. I get it.
You listen to this podcast.
Yes.
We're a couple older guys, and we seem to complain a lot.
Well,
but research has
what old
found
guys
that
do.
the happiest Americans are the oldest Americans.
Well, they have all the money.
Yeah, but money can't buy you happiness.
No, but being poor doesn't help either. So
No, that doesn't either.
Money can't buy happiness, but it can rent it for a while.
Because, see, I would, like when I was younger, I would look at old people and go, man, those people have to be so damn happy. Because look at that. Well, but that was back, when, I was thinking I would live to about 40 or 50, and that's all my heart was going to last.
Right?
And I'd say, man, they should be the happiest people in the world. Look how long they've lived.
So when you were looking at those people, how old were those quote unquote old people?
Well, probably in the beginning, 35. Probably.
Right. That's what I'm saying, because you were young and you weren't thinking you weren't going to make it. So.
So, it's really strange though. I'd always say, oh, they've lived a good, healthy life. They should be happy.
Sure.
But the older I get, the more I'm going, oh, I'm close to, this ride eventually comes to an end. And none of us really know when the end is. But when you get to be, like, I'm pushing 70 this next birthday I have in May.
Right.
I'll be the big 70, and I'm looking at my watch and I'm looking at the calendar going, this party can't last forever, folks.
I hear that. I mean, I get it. Boy, you're opening up a real can of worms here, but I get it. And yet I think if you do it right, you're hopefully in a space and place and headset. You're in a mindset where you kind of got your act together and you're doing what you can. Do what you can do. I mean,
well, I'm definitely doing what I can do.
Yes, I know you are.
And I don't want it to end, but in the back of your mind, you get those thoughts like, well, I started getting those thoughts really, because they told me when I got my heart transplant,
right,
almost 22 years ago, in March, it'll be 22 years. They said this should give you a good 5 years, if not more.
5 years?
The average person would live 5 years with a heart transplant when I got mine in 2003. That was
5 years.
That was
Screw
the
that. You're on 22.
I know. Well, obviously,
I remember when you had the heart transplant. I remember this conversation. I mean, I don't remember it word for word, but I remember somehow the question came up of how long is it going to last? And I remember you told me, and I don't know if it was on the air or not, but you told, probably not. You told me at the time that your doctors, your care team at Tampa General, you asked that question, how long do I get? And their answer to you was, well, you're going to tell us, BJ Odom, because most people who get heart transplants have other stuff going on, that they have other issues, other medical, other challenges, other medical challenges. You don't. You had the heart. That's it. After that, you got a heart, you're good to go. So did I get that wrong? I mean, does that conversation sound about? Yeah. So here you are 22 years later, still ticking, still working, still doing your thing, and you're still figuring it. I mean, they're still learning from you. You're still learning how to go. So yeah, 22 years. I mean, yes. I mean, let's face it. Any of us at this age have fewer days ahead than we have behind in the rearview mirror.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you live to 150, that's about it. Do the best you got. I mean, it's not like boy, this is a real can of worms you're opening here, because there's so many ways you can go with that. But anyway, I'm happy for you. I know it's going to be 22 years. We'll have to have a celebration or something like that when the time comes, and we'll figure it out. So anyway, you're still doing the job. That's all you got to do. Get up every morning.
And of course, another thing they told me, a couple other key issues that they said when I first got the transplant was one, every person's makeup, and I'm not talking about the makeup you put on your face, your makeup of your body, your DNA, all that
Sure.
stuff.
Sure.
Everybody, and all, this is like that. This is in a lot of diseases, or a lot of sicknesses. Everybody is different.
Yes.
There are no two people that take the same drugs or have the same surgery that operate the same, because everybody is an individual and everybody has an individual makeup.
Yes.
And so no, they told me no two cases are ever the same. That was one thing they told me. And another thing they told me that was always kind of interesting, which I know you remember this too. They said, probably you won't die from a bad heart, because it does. It takes your immune system down to practically nothing.
Right.
They go, the chances are you're going to die from something else. Probably your heart will not get you.
Mm-hmm.
Something else will get you.
Right.
And then the number one answer that they give you, really, cancer.
Yeah.
Because I guess, you get cancer cells. We probably all have them in us.
We do.
But, they don't really get a hopping on everybody. And, but they said, with a low immune system, like taking the anti-rejection drugs, that's probably would be the number one killer of transplant patients, in all honesty.
It's the number one killer of, well, no, heart related issues are the number one killer of everybody, right? I mean, but cancer probably a close second at this point. I don't know that. I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV, but you talk to a hell of a lot of them. And so yeah, I get it. I do. So just keep doing your best, folks. Stop eating so much junk food, get a little bit of sun, get a little bit of exercise, whatever. Do what you can. That's all I'm ever doing. That's all I'm ever doing. But I do enjoy, I will tell you this, I am a little smug, a little bit, when I play pickleball with quote unquote young people. And they'll be like, we're all playing pretty well together, and somebody will tell me, great shot or whatever. I'm like, I'm going to, go home and take my ibuprofen now. And they're like, and somebody somewhere will ask that question, how long you been playing, or how old are you, or whatever. And I will always look around the crowd and go, who's the oldest guy here? And somebody will go, oh, I'm 34. I'm like, when you double it, call me. And they're like, whoa, really, Dad? I'm like, yeah, I'm 68. And they're like, whoa, not bad. And I'm like, okay, a little pat on the back for yours truly there. So, okay, I get it. Could I do better at stuff? Of course. But still, I'm happy, thankful, blessed, all of that stuff for where I'm at. And you are too. I mean, because, as you've told us many a time, you should have been gone multiple
years
times.
ago. Oh, yeah.
Whatever. So.
Now, I will say this. I had a aunt who had a lot of illnesses. I don't want to go into everything, but let's just say she had a lot of medical issues.
Right.
And her husband, strapping country boy, I mean, could whoop his way out of a bar if he needed to.
Right.
Big strapping guy. He died of cancer after she had already probably been dead with everything going on with her.
Right.
And she ended up living like another 5, 6, 7 years. And she lived into her, I think it was either her mid 70s somewhere. And people all said, all the time, oh, she will go before the husband. And so my wife always believes in that little story. She goes, yeah, you always think you're going to go first. I'm going to go before you. And I go, no, not a chance in hell.
Well, we are going to go dun and take a break, because we've been chatting along here and things have gotten a little out of hand, but that's a good thing. I love it. Let's take a quick break and go refill your coffee and, take whatever medications you need to take. Don't do that. And we will be right back. Welcome back. This is BJ and Bill, the podcast, the medical edition. We're just chatting away about all these things. Anyway, We would love it if you would like to share this podcast with your friends and all those other people out there in podcast land. So if you are enjoying what you hear, and I know that you have, please feel free to give us a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube Music. We're on all of them. We're like everywhere. So give it that 5-star review. If you want to get in touch, visit our Facebook page. Just do a search for BJ and Bill Podcast. And as I always say, you have to spell out the A-N-D, BJ A-N-D, Bill Podcast. And that's the same email address, bjandbillpodcast@gmail.com. There you go. We're still here. We're still alive. We're still kicking.
Yeah, a little bit. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're here. We're here. We're here. Of course, we covered most of the sports in the beginning of the podcast, but one other thing that I want to mention, I probably myself, I might like turn on a football game if it's on like the rest of the season, probably watch, the Super Bowl.
Oh,
but
no, I'm locked in. I know you and I disagree on that. I'm locked in for every game, every minute of it.
Yeah, I'm not.
Okay.
But there is another game besides the NFL that'll be taking place next Monday night, a week from tonight.
Oh, yes.
And of course, I know you're an Ohio boy.
Yes.
My daughter's boyfriend is an Ohio guy.
Yes.
So I know you will be rooting for Ohio State.
We're talking about the college football championship, Ohio State, Notre Dame. And yes, if I don't, because I still have family in Ohio, I have one, and I've mentioned her before many a time, shout out to cousin Diane, that went to, when I went to Ohio, we were the same age. When I went to Ohio University in Athens, she went to Ohio State in Columbus. She never left Columbus. She has been there, working, professional, very successful. But good God, a total Ohio State homer. Oh, my God. So, yeah, I have the text messages and the whole thing, so yes, I'm watching. Of course, I'm rooting for Ohio State. Yeah, but I will be. It'll be cool.
Now, of course, I was born in Indiana.
Yes.
My son was born in Indiana.
Yes.
But growing up, I always liked IU basketball, and I liked Purdue football, as a young child and then as a young adult going into the world of radio.
Yes.
A lot of the stations that I would work for, we'd carry, the IU and the Purdue games and, some Notre Dame games. But Notre Dame was not, to me anyway, I never really grew up. And it was probably even, I don't know, it was a little further than Lafayette, but it was not that far from my house where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
But I was not really a Notre Dame fan. My son had only lived in Indiana up till the age of 4, and then he moved down here. Now, I know his grandpa was a big Cubs fan, so he's a big Cubs fan, big Bears fan.
Right.
But where he got Notre Dame, I do not know, but he is a huge Notre Dame fan.
Really?
Well, I'm thinking I got a daughter with a boyfriend from Ohio. I got a son who's a huge Notre Dame fan. What am I to do?
What's a BJ Odom to do? I don't know.
I was talking about that dilemma to my son Gentry just the other day.
Aha.
He tells me straight to my face, where does that check come from when you get it and cash it from the podcast playground? I think that should tell you who you should be rooting for the big college game coming up.
Aha. And so obvious and so powerful. Who would have thunk it? Who's paying you, Dad? Now, of course, don't tell him. Oh boy, I better keep my mouth shut on that. So I just want to see a game. I always say that, people are like, who are you rooting for? If I don't have a dog in the fight, I just want to see a good game. Would I like to see Ohio State win? Yeah, but I want to see a good game more than anything. So, okay.
Well, Vegas gives them 9. That's the
I'll
spread.
keep it quiet. What's that?
Vegas gives Ohio State 9.
9. I could be tempted to bet that spread. I don't know. Ohio State looks really good. I don't know. I did see that game last week with like the 80-yard scoop and score where the kid that did it. I think I heard this right, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think the kid that did it was the former roommate of the Texas quarterback of yours. So when he went to Texas for
Texas,
years.
yeah,
I
and
don't
then
know.
he
There was
transferred. He did the
yeah,
portal.
there was some
Transferred.
connection there that was crazy. But anyway, that's funny and cool. So anyway, yes, that's literally a week from as we record this podcast on a Monday. It's literally a week from today. So there you go.
I wondered if they're friends anymore.
Uh,
You may have been my roommate, but I don't like you anymore.
yeah, probably not. Probably not. So has your son probably doesn't talk to your daughter all that much. I mean, she's just an Ohio State fan because of the boyfriend, right? I mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
she has no connection. So yeah,
She
okay.
would, I don't know.
Right.
She's always been that way when she's, with someone.
Oh, sure.
She's not a sports fan at all.
Oh, I hear you. I hear you.
But she will play the little game, and
Sure.
wear the jerseys.
Sure. I dated. I mean, boy, it's been 2 years, but I dated that lady in Jacksonville who was a Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, she went to Georgia. Her family went to Georgia. She was like, oh my God. So yeah, I became a Georgia Bulldogs fan for a while. I get it. So yeah, it's fine. It's all good.
Like I said, I am, I do stick with my teams. The Gators suck this year, but I still watch, quite a few of their games.
Yes. Believe me,
yeah.
so did I.
And, the Bucs, I knew they was never making it to the Super Bowl, but I still like them.
Of course.
I'll like them again next year.
That's how sports works.
Yeah. But besides that, I like my Warriors because I like to watch, Steph Curry. But besides that, I'm not
Right.
like you, where I got there's a game on. There's a game on. It's like, yeah, there's a game on. I don't care.
And you and I, we've talked about this, and I'm thinking I'm going to make the change after the Super Bowl, and that is to dump YouTube TV because they just raised the prices. It's now $83 a month. It used to be $79. They raised it, whatever. It's now 83 or 84 bucks a month. I literally only watch sports. And I'm not this huge sports crazy guy, like, glued to it, but I just enjoy watch live sports rather than all of these other crazy TV shows. And I found there's another, it's Sling TV.
Oh, or you
And
can
if
just get
anybody
mostly
has
the
that,
sports.
let me know how you love it. I'm sorry?
You have two different packages, and one of them is mostly the sports channels, and the other one's like
it's
news
literally
channels.
half. It's half the money.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not super cheap, but I'm happy to save $40 a month. That buys a lot of Chinese takeout and pizza. And just get it because summer's coming. What am I going to watch? I'm going to watch the end of the NBA, and then I'll watch a little bit of baseball. And other than that, I'm on my streaming services because I got Amazon and I got, all of that stuff. So, yeah.
In all honesty,
yes,
I might be able to help you out just a little bit.
I'm listening.
Go get Peacock and get the live stream. You got to pay the extra so you can so that way you can see the NBC affiliate.
Right.
And then you need to go get Peacock. It's got CBS, and you can actually pay a little extra there too, and watch your CBS affiliate live on Peacock.
Paramount. Peacock, Paramount.
Peacock and Paramount. Paramount's CBS. Peacock is NBC.
Yes.
And then, of course, you can go out and get ESPN Plus. That'll give you that gives you, when it comes to college, that gives you games you'd never see before. Because, I mean, with ESPN2, you can get almost any college game that there ever was in basketball and football.
And ESPN Plus gives you like one baseball game a week, and of course it's got it's got a lot of NHL, it's got a lot of hockey, which come playoff time, I'll watch that too. So
the only thing you're missing if you do that is ESPN. Fox.
Oh, Fox. Well, I have broadcast channels. I can get the broadcast channels here in town. I I think I get them all. I think I do. We're kind
As
of
long
here
as
in
you get
Gainesville. We're
Bucs.
kind of like we're like in the middle of nowhere. So yeah. But anyway, now how much do those? They're not very expensive, are they? Like Peacock is. They're less than $10 a month, aren't they?
Well, if you want to get now, I will tell you this: if you're getting the NBC affiliate with it too,
Right.
because you can get just Peacock for like $5.99,
Right.
but you add another $6.99, you can watch shows back with no commercials, and you
Okay.
can see the NBC affiliate in your area
Yeah.
also live.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you. I will definitely look into it. Sling's got the ESPNs and all of that
Yeah,
stuff.
and
So
probably by buying all those apps, you probably Sling would be cheap.
probably add up to that much money anyway. Right. Probably would.
But
So anyway,
speaking of
but
doing anything about your television or anything else, you can always move into a neighborhood like mine that gives you cable and internet for free. Well, it's not free because you're going to pay for it in your HOA fees, but it's a lot
Right.
cheaper than if I would go and buy it my own, which I cannot wait till March to start saving about $150 a month.
See, that's a good chunk of change right there. That's yeah. Again, that buys a lot of Chinese takeout and so there you go. And for you, dog.
Speaking of HOA neighborhoods or any other neighborhoods, I know you were gone between now and the last time we did a podcast.
Yes, I was
We're
on the
talking
road.
about this town called Bradenton.
Bradenton.
Anything happen while you were there?
I did.
Did you look
I
at any
did.
apartments?
I did. I toured several apartments. For those from Southwest Florida, you may or may not recognize Lakewood Ranch. Also, very nice community.
That's a
Very
nice area.
community. Right.
You'd be living with the Richies.
Well, I mean, they have apartments and some condos as well. Yes, it's mostly gated community, country club kind of stuff, but they have a nice little downtown area that it's really I like what they've done. And a friend that I visited down in Venice as well. They're doing the same thing in Venice. It's not the same company building it, but they're doing the same concept, which is basically we're taking several hundred acres of property and all at once we're building a whole new downtown area. This is Welland Park, which is south of Venice, north of Northport in Sarasota County. It's called Welland Park. And they're basically building another Lakewood Ranch there, which is, again, very nice little downtown with shops and some restaurants and, of course, your Publix and all of that. And then, but Lakewood Ranch has been around for, I don't know, 20 years. And it's super nice. So to answer your question, yes, looked at maybe 4 different apartments. The one I actually liked the best, there were 2. And in reverse order, the second one I was like, it was very old. It was like built in the 80s. It looked like something out of the 80s and took a hit from the last hurricane that came through. So lots of blue tarps still on the roofs of the old brick buildings, but it was literally on the river in Bradenton. Literally, I mean, you could walk the property and you're looking out at the bridges and out at the sea, and it was like, oh my God, how beautiful is this? And the lady's like, oh yeah, we have manatees and dolphins coming by all the time. I'm like, I'm in. Older property, much older. I mean, with some wooden fences that had been knocked down by the storms, and now they're just getting around to replacing them and all that. All right, not bad. And then I went to the one at Lakewood Ranch, newer, beautiful, walking distance to Publix and walking distance to Fresh Market. And, with the big park across the street that played pickleball all the time, I'm like, oh, I'm in. So anyway, those were my 2 favorites. And yes, my lease here in Gainesville is up at the end of March. So I have 2.5 months still to figure out exactly what I'm doing. But I'll just leave it at this. I'm interested. I'm interested in returning to something a little warmer, a little closer to Southwest Florida, a little more, active. Well, I'm not going to say Gainesville is not active, but I'm also not 20 years old. So,
Well,
Anyway.
I would be trying to reserve one or telling them when you're thinking about moving, because A lot of these apartments that are nice anymore have a waiting list.
Way ahead of you. Way ahead of you on that. Got a quote from the one that I liked in Lakewood Ranch. And yes, I'm like, how's business? And the guy's like, we're 95% full. I'm like, wow. And lots of the ones that I either talked to or toured, same thing. These and I don't know if it's because people can't afford to live in a house anymore. I don't know. Or, well, we know Southwest Florida. We know. And I mean, Lakewood Ranch is Bradenton, Sarasota. It's not Fort Myers, Cape Coral, but it doesn't matter. Any part of the coast of Florida, anywhere, is just getting more and more and more and more filled up with people. And that's a bit of an issue. I don't like I don't like the traffic so much, but it's just part of the experience of living in Florida. Let's put it that way. So
that Lakewood Ranch area is really
nice.
Really nice.
Really nice.
Probably really expensive too.
Really nice. I mentioned pickleball to the kid that was young man giving me the tour on the golf cart, of course. I mentioned pickleball and he goes, "Oh, you guys," he says, "we don't have it here, but we're turning our oneness court into pickleball courts. We're going to start doing that in the springtime." And he says, "But you need to go across the street," and he points across the way, and there's a giant community park there. It's like, there's a school on one side, but it's a community park that the school also uses, kind of a thing. And I mean, like basketball, baseball, pickleball courts, tennis courts, I'm like, I could walk to that from the apartments. Like, all right, I'm in. Yay. So I don't want to make my whole life about pickleball, but it kind of is. Okay. So more updates, more details as they become available, as I like to say in my old news reporting days. We'll continue to update this story for you. More details as they become available.
Film at 11.
Film at 11. That's right. There you go. Or as my favorite joke from the news business used to say, film editors on strike, slides at 11.
I used to always, that's one thing I always hated about local television.
Which is?
There was a bank robbery at 5th and 3rd. We'll have all the details tonight at 11. Well, no, I won't be here at 11. I want the details now, you dumb shits.
I hear you. But that's how they keep you. That's how they keep you hanging on.
I know.
To keep
it's
the
like
ratings up.
It's like us radio people saying, we'll be back to talk about, this.
Yeah. Or songs. We would always say, "Oh, you guys, you really love this latest thing from XYZ. We'll have that coming up next." And then you got 3 hours of commercials. So yeah.
The old tease game.
The tease game. That's
like
it.
It's like being in junior high all over again.
Tease. That's a different kind of a tease, but yes, it is exactly, it works on your brain exactly the same way.
Yeah. I keep liking this girl. In another 3 weeks, I'll get the pot of gold.
My favorite line of all time, and it was Jim Carrey I think it was in the first Dumb and Dumber movie, where he was trying to ask some girl out for a date, and she would say, "I wouldn't go out with you in a million years." And he's like, "So you're saying there's a chance?" All right. Last minute thoughts, BJ Odom.
No, not really. And
okay,
with it being so cold, it's like I haven't even made plans the last couple of weeks because it's so damn cold. And I know people up north are going, wee. You should live up here where we got 10 feet of snow. Well, I've lived in Florida for over 40 years. And when it's below 68, 69 degrees, I am freaking freezing.
Me too.
I am no freaking polar bear. All right.
2 notes on that. Our friend Vicky Wagner up in Blue Ridge, Georgia, sent me a picture. I'll send it to you. It's on a text of the snow in her yard on the mountain there in Blue Ridge, Georgia. Snow, not a little, plenty of snow on the mountain in Blue Ridge, Georgia. So she sent me that I forget this past week sometime when it was totally freezing out there. And I sent her the picture of yours truly in front of his burning fireplace. I have a fireplace, a gas-powered fireplace in my apartment. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not saying it's cold here in Gainesville, but fireplace picture. So yeah, no, thank you. No, thank you.
Even, I don't know what's going on. Even, our hometown of, not our hometowns, but, where you and I worked so many years,
Sure.
Fort Myers, Florida,
Sure.
Fort Myers, Naples area, even they're getting
Yes.
cooler weather than normal. Cause I remember like we might have 2 days under 70 degrees and then, it'll warm back up for a week or so. And then you might have another 2 degrees, 2 days with temperatures under 70. But I've been seeing, they've been having, like 3 or 4 or 5 days under 70 degrees for the high.
Oh, it's a lot under 70 degrees. I haven't checked the weather in Fort Myers in a while, but yeah. Alexa, what's the weather in Fort Myers, Florida right now? I'll tell you what she says right now. Oh, it's 74. Oh, come on.
See?
Alexa, stop. 74? And here in Gainesville or where you're at, what is it, BJ, where you're at?
I'll tell you here in a second, as soon as my weather app opens up. Come on.
My weather app says 49 degrees here in Gainesville.
Wow. What a big difference from 49
25-degree difference from here to Fort Myers? You're kidding.
Listen to this. You are at 45, you say?
Right.
I'm at 61 right now. And they're at 71.
Wow. Wow.
Why we ever moved? I tell my wife that all the time. She's like, whang, 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 whang. I go, yeah, whang, 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 right up your cookster. I miss Fort Myers. I'm sorry, I'm an old fart, and I like my warm weather.
Hear you.
I've lived down here for 40 years. If I wanted to be cold, I would move to Ohio.
Alexa, what's the weather in Cleveland, Ohio right now? Let's check. Yes? 28 degrees. Alexa, stop. Alexa, sorry. 28 degrees in Cleveland right now on a Monday morning, almost noon as we record this. 28. Thank you. No.
I think I'm just going to go have some gummies and go back to bed.
Yeah, I think, can you send me a couple of those gummies? Can you send me a couple? Because, yeah, I'm all right. All right, everybody. Two old men have done enough bitching for one day. I think we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, Tom Drake, I'm talking to him because he has a sponsor now for his podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, he went out and found a sponsor for his podcast that he sold himself. And so congratulations to him. Go to sheets.com. I had to do
the gas station.
No. Well, maybe, no, I thought it was Sheets, like sheets.com.
SHEETZ?
No, S. Sheets.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said Z.
No. Yeah, well, okay, then that's different. It's not a gas station change. There's a gas station chain up north that's kind of like Wawa down south. Big, sandwiches and pizza and drinks and all that. It's called Sheets.
Now, I really think that if you go to sheets.com, you can pick out sheets for your bed.
Okay. All right.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's about. I'm not for sure, but I know I had to do the intro.
Oh.
So, if you want to go listen to Tom Drake's cruise and travel news after you get done with us, you'll hear, well, I voiced
Hear BJ doing the intro for sheets.com.
Yeah, I did the first one, but I had to do a new one. I had to redo it saying, sheets.com from the sheets.com studios.
Well, good for him. Good for him. I would have suspected a little something like maybe a travel agency or something, since that's what he does. But hey, if you get I still think Buc-ee's should sponsor this podcast.
I think we need to find. We have national sponsors.
Yes.
Well, a lot of them are local, but we have that go along with the network.
Yes.
If you want an out network spot, you could always be a BJ and Bill, supporter and support our podcast and buy advertising, and we'd smile and share the money. But I don't. I
don't. Yeah, we need to work on that. We need to work. All right, we're gonna go to work No, we're not. We're going to take another gummy and some of us are probably going to take a little nap just because it's been a great day here. But all right, I appreciate it. Look at that. We're all over the time already. So anyway, have a great week, everybody. Stay warm no matter where you're at. And I don't know how many listeners we have out west in California, but we are praying for you as well out there. It's just crazy. I know we didn't talk about that a lot. It's not really the focus of this show, but we know how crazy things are. So anyway, take good care. No matter where you are, we love you. We appreciate you. We'll see you next week. But until then, it's just up to BJ Odom to say,
see ya.